Hi, my name is Andrea and I'm sharing my experience volunteering in 13 countries in the past 2 years in a series of videos here on YouTube. This video is about how you can use volunteer experiences to further your career and your studies, but this video is part of a playlist with plenty more of information about volunteering, my past experiences, some tips, the pros and cons. There's everything you might need to know about volunteering in this playlist. The volunteer experiences can be really good for your career or your studies in two ways. So basically you can develop soft skills and hard skills, both of which are very important if you're applying for a master's or for an undergraduate degree, but also if you're applying for a job. So speaking of the soft skills first, a lot of the positions that you will find in a platform like Worldpackers, for example, will be customer facing. And you will also be part of a team of volunteers and staff as well. So you will always be surrounded by people basically, which means that you're going to develop your communication skills, problem-solving skills, teamwork, leadership, and you will have plenty of examples to show for these skills in interview questions. You know, when you're sitting in a job interview and they ask you, oh, tell me about a time where you had to solve a really difficult problem. So you will have plenty of examples of that, because in the hospitality industry specifically, usually the environment is very fast-paced, so there is a lot of problems to be solved, and you will learn a lot in that sense. I think another advantage of volunteering that you can use for your future career is the fact that you're always dealing with people from diverse backgrounds. So even if you're not in a country that is very different from your home country, you will be in contact with travelers all the time. That's a very valuable skill, because having cultural intelligence is something that is going to be very important in the future, especially now that the world is so interconnected and people are starting to work remotely. So this is something really nice for you to include in your CV, and again, you will have plenty of examples of that. Now, talking about hard skills, I have mentioned in the previous videos that during the pandemic I lost my main source of income, so I had to learn new skills to try and diverse my income a little bit. So one of these skills was web development, and it was actually in a volunteer experience that I managed to build a bit more experience in that and even add a website to my portfolio. I also volunteered in a hostel in Albania, and I helped my host to build a digital strategy for a campaign that he was working on. So this is also something that I can include in my CV. And it was not something that I was an expert on. Like I was honest with the host and saying, like, look, this is something I have an interest in and I'm learning, but I want to learn with you. So you don't have to have the technical expertise for all the positions. Some hosts might require some experience in that particular area, but you can also use volunteering to develop new skills and build portfolio. Volunteering also gives you access to certain industries that you might not have access to otherwise. So for example, social projects. So if you want to work in the third sector, for example, and you're struggling to find an internship in an organization, you can use volunteer experiences to get your foot in the door basically, and to start adding some organizations to your CV. But aside from soft and hard skills, I think we shouldn't underestimate the power of networking first and foremost, because you will meet a lot of people in your experiences, and because you're a volunteer, not just a guest, you will have a much deeper connection with the hosts and the other volunteers. So you will probably make some professional connections in these trips. I have seen volunteers who were doing like social media management for a host and as part of the volunteer experience, and then they left and continued to do it remotely, sometimes even paid. So there are plenty of opportunities there to further your career, but also you can gain valuable life experiences that not everybody has, and this really sets you apart from the competition. Think about if you're applying for an undergraduate degree or a master's. I am applying for a master's now, for example, and I am including all these volunteer experiences I've had all over the world in my application, and it really does make my application a lot stronger, and it makes it stand out from the other applications. So I think the fact that you were a volunteer, even if you just did it once, it shows the employer or it shows the university that you are ready to put yourself out there, to get out of your comfort zone and to learn new skills, and that you're adaptable. So that's it from me. If you have any questions about this video, drop them in the comments below. The link to sign up to Worldpackers is also below. And make sure you check the other videos in this playlist. There's plenty of information there about volunteering abroad.